Hey guys, welcome back to another mall video. So today we were heading to Lima, Ohio to check out the Lima Mall. And actually on this trip I did get video of both the Lima Mall and the Findlay Village Mall, both in Ohio. The Findlay Village Mall will come out and be put together at sometime later. Today we're just going to focus on the Lima Mall. So I had no idea what to expect, and I usually don't when I go to these malls, and sometimes I end up really surprised. So join me as we travel to Lima, Ohio to decide, is this going to be a mall video or a dead mall video? So when I arrived at the Lima Mall, I was really surprised. The parking lot was really full, and the front facade of the Macy's store was absolutely amazing, which you'll see at the end of the video. But for the most part, I had no idea what to expect when I got to the mall or when I left the house to even drive to this place. And usually when I decide what malls to go to, a lot of it's based on the reviews and the ratings from people online. And you know, if it has a really bad reviews and really bad rating, usually you just kind of assume it's going to be a dead mall video. And I was kind of in between on this because it was about a 3-star rating and the reviews were very mixed, so I had no idea what to expect. And as you'll see throughout the video, sometimes you can't go by the ratings or reviews because they're completely different than what you actually encounter when you get there. So upon entering the mall, first of all, on the right there, that store, if you're ever in this mall, you should go check it out. It was really interesting. I'm not into like Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that, or any like magic games or anything, but that was a really fun store. They had like a lot of the medieval and dragon stuff in there. But for the most part, this mall, when I got in there, it was really nice. I was really immediately I was really impressed. For the most part, the vacancies seemed to be really low. In fact, very few. They had a lot of really nice stores, and right on the left there, I don't know if you noticed, there was a security guard. There was security all over the place. So the place seemed very nice and seemed to be doing really well as far as what I saw when I walked in. And of course, as you can see here, they have an open Macy's, which this is the store that I was, when you drive in, you see this storefront outside, and it was really nice. But the store itself was really clean. It's not on the closing list, and it was very well stocked. There were a lot of people in there, so really impressed with this Macy's.
Make the night so bright with you.
Now when I left the Macy's, this is where things got a little weird and confusing. Now like I said, I've never been to this place, so I didn't know the layout or what to expect. But when I came in down by that JCPenney there, and as soon as I walked in, first thing I thought was, this place seems really small. But compared to the actual size of the outside of the building, so I knew something wasn't right. Like, did I miss a hallway or a corridor or something? And it turns out this place has such a weird layout. You actually have no choice but to walk through the pennies and go to the other side of the mall. So the pennies not only acts as an anchor, but it's also a corridor or a hallway to the other half of the mall. So you have no choice but to walk through. So it's really good for their business, I'm sure, but it was a really weird setup. I've never seen anything like that. Now the pennies itself was really nice. It's also not on any closing list or anything, and it was very well stocked. A lot of people in there, but I imagine most of the people, as you see walking through, they're just walking through because they have no choice. You either have to leave the building and go outside and walk down to the other end, or walk through the pennies. Now, as I left the pennies and walked by the grumpy man there selling something on the left, The mall itself was in such nice shape. I was so surprised. And like I was saying in the beginning, if you'd go to a mall just expecting, to see what the comments and everything reflect, you're going to be really surprised sometimes. And I shouldn't do that, but a lot of times that is a good indication if the mall is dead or not. A lot of the people who left comments about this place and reviews just said that the mall's dead and there's nothing in there, but for the most part the place was really crowded and there were very few vacancies, so I'm not really sure what they expect, especially since Lima is not really a big town. It's a pretty small area, and for them to have this mall in such good shape with so few vacancies is really surprising, and I was really impressed overall. Now what we're walking through here is kind of like their little food court. There were a few restaurants, not a lot, but better than nothing. I mean, I've been to malls before that have absolutely no food options. This actually had several. Now the only complaint that I have about this mall is straight ahead there, in their little center area. They had little tables set up. It looked kind of like a flea market, and it actually reminded me a lot of the Woodland Mall in Bowling Green, which I did a video at not too long ago, where they have just that really trashy looking flea market area. This mall is in such good shape and it already has a lot of really nice stores. There's no reason for them to have that flea market area. It kind of downgrades it a little bit, and it really was unnecessary. Now straight ahead here is one of the vacant anchors. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think this was the Sears based on the way it looked. And I was looking at the old maps. I'm pretty sure this is the Sears. And another thing that they actually had was a little dog, like adoption event or something here where all these people are standing. There were all these dogs, and I don't know what, I think it was for adoption, I'm not sure. I will be completely honest, I did go back and see some of the dogs. I love dogs, I have a dog, but I've been considering getting another one. If I didn't live so far away from this place, I probably would have went home with another dog that day. But that was nice that they were doing that. I'm not really sure what it was for. Now, as far as some of the history of this place, it was actually originally built in 1965, and obviously some of the anchors have come and gone, just like any mall, but some of the ones that used to be there were an elder Biermann, a place called The Leader. I'm not really sure what that is. It must be like a local or a regional chain. I've never heard of that. There was also a Woolworth, an Old Navy, which seems to, from what I was reading, seems to be where the shoe department store was. And there was also a MC Sports and a Sears, of course. So a lot of the closures were because of bankruptcies by the company, so there was nothing really that the mall could have done to save those. But then a lot of the other ones just seem to have moved based on what I was reading. Now coming up here is another anchor. If I'm not mistaken, I would say that was probably the elder Biermann based on the way it looked. I couldn't find any information about it other than the directory, which had just the empty store. It didn't really say what it used to be. But here's another group of food options. There was an Asian place and another place there on the other side, and a lot of people were sitting there eating, so it's pretty good for a place like this. I was really surprised, especially with Lima being such a small town. And on the right there is that shoe department store. From what I was reading, that is where the Old Navy used to be. Again, if I'm wrong on any of these, go ahead and correct me in the comments. I don't mind. And that would be interesting if anybody knows what that center area there used to be. I kind of feel like usually the center area of a mall like that would be a fountain. I don't know. Of course, like I said, I've never been to this place, but I don't know, with the skylight above it, it just feels like a fountain would have sat there. Maybe I'm completely wrong, I don't know. And there on the left, they have those rentable little animals that you can ride. I don't know. I know Glenbrook here in town does that, and a lot of other malls that I've been to, I've never actually seen anyone use them. Now at this point, I've pretty much covered the entire place, so I was actually heading out, and of course I had to go through Penny's because I had no choice. But as I was going through, I was kind of thinking too, like, if Penny's did ever close in this mall, I wonder what they would do with this store, because they couldn't close it. They'd have to leave it open, otherwise you couldn't walk through to the other side. And I wonder, if they would just put up walls and make it like a hallway, or I really don't know. If it ever closes, I would like to go back and just see what they do with it, because that would be kind of a challenge for the mall. But as I was leaving here, also, there's a lot of malls in Ohio. Ohio has so many malls that I have never been to. I'd really like to go to a lot of them. If anyone is in the area of any of the malls that would make interesting videos and want to get together sometime, just let me know in the comments, and maybe sometimes we can get together, do a mall video. I think that'd be pretty fun. But overall, this was a really nice mall. I was really impressed. Here is that Macy's that I was talking about. I have never seen a store like this, the storefront. It was really nice. The mall itself was fine, it was nice, but just this Macy's alone made it worth the drive. And I was really glad to see that. I was not expecting that, because I didn't see it. I didn't see it in pictures or anything until I actually got there. It really reminded me of a 1970s airport, like I was going to go get my ticket for a Pan Am flight or something. But that is the Lima Mall in Lima, Ohio. I thank you all for watching. I hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and thanks again.